Welcome to Ripples. Thanks for coming. This morning I was in the supermarket getting my lunch because when I come into the office and I don't leave, which is a little bit silly, but I just don't. I'm only here 2 days a week, and so I cram in as much as I can. And I was walking down the essential oil aisle in the supermarket in what's it called, Fairway. And they had camphor essential oil, which you don't often see camphor essential oil because it's pretty potent stuff. And so I looked at it and I thought, well, it's, that is the oil that you use to open Dai Mai. You put camphor oil on gallbladder 41 and Dai Mai will open to release that which doesn't belong, or you can put it on the ghost points even to release entities. It's very interesting oil. So I took it and I thought something's going to happen today and that's going to be useful. And so Brian, thank you Brian sent me a very, very interesting email referring me to an Australian, they call them systems expert, but I call him, I'm not sure if you can all see that in the chat. I think if you come onto the chat, I'm going to type his name again. I'm sorry, it's half capitals and half. Tyson Yunker Porter, who is this very, very relaxed, part native Australian who is talking about things in a very, very different way, and I'm really enjoying listening to him speak. It's like a fresh voice. But one thing he spoke about today, which I'm listening to him in the cracks of the day, he was speaking about an anthropologist that went to South America and was witnessing tribal fights. No, I mixed up. No, it was another mob. Not his tribe, but another. In Australia, they call them mobs. They call the tribes mobs. They don't call them tribes. He said there's a mob up north, and they fight. When they have a fight, they fight according to very strict rules. And then at the end of the fight, the two fighters stand together, and a representative from the mob will. And it's not to be confused with the Italian mob, right? Nothing to do with that. It just means tribe, right? Just to make that absolutely clear. They're not, it's not gang warfare. It's just two people having a fight. And then the representative of the tribe will come to the person, the victor of the fight, and like line the two up together and duplicate the cuts and the injuries on that he sees on the person, the body of the person who lost the fight, and duplicate those injuries with a knife or whatever on the body of the other person. And the message is, whatever you do, whatever action you perform, you're actually performing it on yourself. And here we're going to show you how. And I thought, wow, gee, put that through an acupuncture lens, and what do you get? And I thought that's very fascinating. How can we learn the lesson of that to do harm, and you can take that whatever way you like. I may or may not be speaking in code, I don't know, but to do harm is to do harm to oneself, or for a culture to do harm to itself. For a culture to enact harm on the populace is to enact harm on itself. And the channel in acupuncture that shows us that is the gallbladder low channel. So it's a point which, when bled, releases anger, frustration, violence against the populace. And then but if not released, if that anger is not released, then the end of the trajectory is at stomach 42, at which point it enters the 5th trajectory of Chong Mai, and that the action of that violence becomes owned or absorbed into the next generation. So any harm that we do is going to affect all humanity, and once you affect humanity going forward, you automatically affect it historically. So I thought that was very, it was a very interesting talk to listen to. Like, you listen to anything by this guy. Actually, he lives in Melbourne, which is where I'm from. If you've got camphor at home, or if you imagine that you have camphor, it's quite pungent, and you could put this on gallbladder 37 and imagine that you're putting it on the gallbladder 37 of the populace to wake up the notion that to do harm is not just damaging in this, in the 15 minutes after the damage or the 3 days after the damage, but it's damage for all time. And so it's not meant to be, I have to laugh at Tyson Yanka Porter. He says, people call me a glass half empty person rather than a glass half full person, but I'm not. I'm just saying this is what's in the glass, which I thought was just so clever. Like, no, it's not half empty. I'm just looking at what's in the glass. So to put the idea of camphor on gallbladder 37 is to say, this is in the glass. Let's just break the glass, so there's no container for this interference. Camphor will do that. Camphor will shake up the consciousness of the populace, and you don't have to have a bottle of camphor. You can just be thinking about the action of camphor, which is really to eliminate any interruption, any pest that's interrupting with the natural flow of humanity. So it's meant to be optimistic, not pessimistic. Thanks so much for being here, and let's get to work. Thanks, Brian, for sending.